Great morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Everybody is piling in, and I am excited about that. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. Peggy is the first one in the chat pane. Welcome, Peggy. Bill is number 2. Hey, Bill. We're doing fantastic. Brian, Chris McCoy. Eric is here. Brian Armstrong, Mr. Pardo, Chris Albanese, as always. Jennifer, welcome to the party. Harry's is top of the morning. Indeed. Great morning, everyone. Why am I saying great morning? My diet today will only consist of greatness. I only consume greatness and I drink from containers filled with greatness. Greatness is what I am, along with what I breathe. I've come too far for good, ladies and gentlemen. Good is the enemy of great. We are here to make an impact. We're here for something substantial. And remember, the words that you use create the world that you live in. I'm not here for a good world. I'm here for a great world. Spell the word great in the chat pane if you are ready to live in such an abundant and prosperous time. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. That is my one and only sermon for the day. Quick update. I want to let all of you know that RLT, Real Life Trading, does have a brand new look, feel, and design. First and foremost, I want to allow everyone to realize that we have made a pretty massive change. If you do go to our website, reallifetrading.com, and you click on live trading, you will notice that we have something called the All Access Pass, All Access Trade Room. What this is, ladies and gentlemen, for $275 a month is access to everything that we have all the time. 45 hours of content from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, what's intriguing is you are able on our website to scroll down and see at any point in time what's being offered and at what times and who's teaching it. Everyone in the world has access to this schedule. You do not have to be a paying member of Real Life Trading to be able to see this, but notice the training schedule. You can come down and let's say that you're like, oh, I wonder what they're doing on the 17th of August. You can click on the day trading, the tab, and it'll say Dan Jansen's going to be hosting the day trading room from 9 to 11, Johnny Guarco from 11 to 2, followed by some option trading from 1 to 2:30, followed by some futures trading. That's right. We have a futures trading room as part of the All Access Pass now. And then we have the afternoon swing trading room at 4. Every single day, things change a little bit. As you'll notice, check this out. Day trading weekly options on the 18th of August, hosted by yours truly from 1 to 2:30. 7 to 4, that's pretty cool. So you would get access to all of that, everything that we offer. If you can't make one portion, that's okay. Be available and be live and be there for something else. But we did make a really massive change, and we actually decreased the cost of that by about $65 for every single person to join. So if you have been interested in learning and immersing yourself in a trading world, in my personal opinion, there is no better than Real Life Trading, especially since we have ourselves a foundation, Real Life Foundation, where we are pouring in light, love, happiness, and of course, monetary abundance to those in need. Let's get into trading, boys and girls. I'm very thrilled and extremely amped about our session today. You'll be seeing me a lot. In fact, if we went back to the website really quick, you'll be able to see the exact schedule for today if you are intrigued on seeing that. So you can click on this. I'm here from 9 to 11. These times are obviously in Eastern. And then if you can click on afternoon trading room, you'll see that Yates is doing the afternoon room today, although there's a small chance that might change and be updated. But either way, this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful day. Type in a 7 into the chat pane if you would like to see my morning checklist for day trading. I know some of you might want to see it, but maybe no one does. And if it's okay if you don't, but I'll pull it up only if I get at least 6 more 7s, though. So a few people haven't typed it in. Because what I'm going to do is not only share it with you, you can write it down, you can make a copy of it, but I will also walk through this exact process. Okay, I got enough sevens. Here we go. This is the exact daily checklist every single morning for me. What I do is I start with the monthly chart. I go down from monthly, weekly, and daily. And then when I do that, I note and make a line where all of the moving averages are. The 5 moving averages that I work with are the 10, 20, 50 EMA, which are exponential moving average. And then I look at the 100 and 200 SMA, which stands for simple moving average. And all I'm doing on that bigger time frame, boys and girls, is just making a notation of where they are, right? Kind of capturing and very, very precisely drawing out where they are so that I'll just, so I know. And so that way, if we're coming into them and acting as a support or resistance, I'm just aware that something's going to happen from there. Now, on the daily chart, here's what's next. I look at the gap on the daily and determine what type of gap it is. Then I go into a 5-minute pre-market chart and draw some support resistance lines. Then I try and create a wave count based on a 15-minute chart or hourly chart using pre-market. That wave count is an Elliott wave. And then I drill down to the 5-minute to make sure that that wave count makes sense. Type in a 3 if you want to go do that right now. So for today and for this week, since we do have a multiple of how many people are normally here, we're going to select a small list of stocks. What I'm going to be working for and working through is very specific. We're going to be looking at these 5: Tesla, Nvidia, Delta, AMD, and Amazon. I'll have the Qs and the SPY on the list, but I will then go find one additional stock that's gapping nicely that I'm really excited about, do the exact same analysis with that one, and then watch those 6 and only those 6 for the rest of the morning. Because from a math perspective, if we're just being really, really obvious with math, what is 200 times 600? What do those two numbers represent? 200 times 600. What's special about those numbers? Tony, incorrect. Try again. All right. Greg, try again. Eric, try again. A lot of you are off pretty badly. Okay. 200 times 600 is 120,000. A lot of you are typing in 12,000 and a lot of you are typing in 1,200. It's 120,000, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that important? Well, if I'm here to teach math, I'll take 2 times 6 is 12 and you add 4 zeros, 2, 3, 4. But the reason that this number is relevant, what if you made $600 net 200 days out of the year? $600 net 200 days out of the year. You do not have to make money every day to make money every month. Tony says, I would retire. I have another trader saying that would be life-changing. I'm asking for 200 days. That actually means you have 165 days off where you can go build something else, scale something else, pour in your time and energy into something else. Many of us will hit that number frequently, and far too many of us keep trading only to give it back. So here we go. Let's walk through our checklist. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Tesla. It's the first stock on the list. And what I'm going to do is redraw all these lines for you so you can just kind of see my process. All right. Here we go. So these are the 10, 20, and 50 moving averages. I'm only going to draw one because the rest are just so far away. I don't think that's really going to matter, at least not today. So the 10 EMA on a monthly chart is 849.35. 849.35. And I'm going to write in 10 EMA on monthly. There we go. First line down. Now, again, you'll notice the 20 is all the way down here at 760. The 50 is all the way down here at 524. And the 100, 200 on a monthly, again, are just so far away that it doesn't really matter. So there's no real reason to draw them on the screen presently. Okay, going back to the weekly chart. Now the weekly, we can draw these for sure, just so that we'll have them. Florian says, well, you have this list of stocks every day. That is correct. Yep, that is absolutely correct. All right, so the 50 EMA on a weekly chart is 814.82. 50 EMA on weekly. And then I'm going to clone that. Now you can build indicators for this. I just like doing something manually sometimes. Here's the 20 EMA. So the 20 EMA is at 805.18. There we go. And the 10 EMA on a weekly is 781.65. Since we are above those moving averages, will they act as a support or resistance? They will act as a support. Exactly. All right. One other moving average just to look through. We're going to look at the 100 and 200 on a weekly chart. The 200 is too far away for it to really even matter. And the 100 is right here. So the 100 is at 751.09. All right. 100 SMA on weekly. There we go. And last but not least, we're going to go to the daily chart and see if there's anything close to where we're at. Okay, 100, 200. Are any of those moving averages close to where we're at right now? Yep, so we got the 200 simple right in front of our face, actually. So 200 SMA on daily. Will that act as a support or resistance? That'll act as a resistance. All right, so we got that drawn. I will also draw the 100 on the daily. So the 100 on the daily, 826.58. Beautiful. 100 SMA on daily. Again, this is not a ton of lines, but here we go. Now we can see right now before market open that Tesla is in fact opening above the previous high of day. Type in a 6 if you can see that. We can see before market open that it is gapping. Right, Craig? Right, Paul? All right. Everyone on YouTube is all happy. If you're on YouTube, type in a 6 just so that you can see hi. Say hi to the world, all my YouTube fans. All right. So we can see that this is a nice resistance. Enrico says, would it be good since it's under 2%? Yes, because it is gapping above the high of the day. So there will be momentum today on Tesla. Bullish or bearish, don't know, but there's going to be some good momentum. Okay. And now we have one moving average left, the 10, 20, and 50 on the daily, and those are still pretty far away. So you'll notice the 10 is down here, the 20 is down here, and the 50 is down here. We're all the way up here. So we don't necessarily need to draw those right now. Maybe later in the week, they'll come in handy, but there's other moving averages that will act as a support before the 10, 20, and 50 on a daily chart. By the way, speaking of, I know everyone here is pretty familiar with my 10 EMA strategy. Type a 4 into the chat pane if you'll notice right here with the purple arrow that this is indeed a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. Okay. Now type in 2 4s into the chat pane if you went bullish above the high of that candle with a stop loss below the moving average, because that's the strategy. Less people are typing in 2 4s. Now some did. Again, that's the strategy. It's not very hard. That's it. That's all you have to do. Boom. All right. So we have Tesla drawn. Now, the next part of that checklist was go in on a 5-minute chart and draw pre-market support and resistance. Okay. I'm going to draw pre-market support resistance. I see some support right around here. I'll draw 2 lines. They'll both be red. See something right there. And pre-market resistance, ironically enough, is right at that 200 simple on a daily. Strange. So there's some pre-market support resistance. Then on the 15-minute chart, I try my best to create an Elliott wave count. And this is the part that takes a little bit of art. This is the part that's definitely more feeling than science. I've been working on a count for a bit on Tesla, and I do think that this is a 1-2. I think we're still in a wave 3. Yeah, I mean, I think all of this is pretty strongly a wave 3. We could be working on some kind of wave 4 and then a wave 5. That's a possibility. That's kind of what I'm going with. And what that helps me to understand is simply we have a pretty strong trend and we could start getting a little bit of rest and a little bit of sideways action and a little bit of chop. That's it. So essentially try to, if I'm going to play it, try to sell as high as possible or just be a little bit patient if I'm going to buy, and try to buy as low as possible and don't get super, super aggressive on getting in bullish. That's my takeaway. Beautiful. Tesla, done. Now I'm going to do that exact same checklist on Nvidia, just a lot faster. Okay, here are the moving averages on the monthly chart. We're too far away from the 100, 200. Those don't matter anymore. Okay, the 50 EMA on a monthly is already drawn. Oh, nice. The 20 EMA will be here, and the 10 EMA will be here. Okay, 50, 190, 192.66, and this one is 204.68. Perfect. I don't think this is going to be a big deal, but again, I'm just drawing them on the screen just in case. Because if I'm trading up into them, I can now go, oh, I know why we paused there, or I know why we waited there. Again, we're just building our house. We're building our house of profits and prosperity. That is what we're doing. Okay, beautiful. So we got those. Going down to the weekly chart now. Weekly chart. I will draw the 10 and the 20 since they're pretty right in front of our face, most likely. The 10 EMA is going to be around 172.96. Now, again, keep in mind, team, these do update. These do update. So just because you draw them once doesn't mean you're good to go. This is a daily checklist for me. Once you have the lines drawn, I'm going through a little bit slowly just as a teaching experiment. But once you have them drawn, then you don't have much work after that. You can just go ahead and kind of like move them around a little bit. All right, 20 EMA on a weekly chart, 187.75. 20 EMA on weekly. Now I'm going to pull up the 100, 200. Okay. Oh, wow. The 100 EMA on a weekly chart is right on top of the 20 EMA on a weekly and very close to the 20 EMA on a monthly. Man, Nvidia has a lot of resistance around 188. 188.65. 100 SMA on weekly. All right. So got those drawn, and then daily chart, we're above all those. So those aren't really that important right now. And the 100 on a daily chart is right around that 195 price point. So there's a lot of resistance up there on Nvidia. 100 SMA on daily. Beautiful. Market opens in 12 minutes. We're doing great. Now into the 5-minute chart. And I'm going to draw support and resistance. Type in a 6 if it's pretty easy to see the support and resistance on Nvidia. I'll go ahead and draw it, but I mean, truth be told, a squirrel with an addiction to peanut M&Ms could see support resistance on Nvidia. So there's your pre-market support resistance right there. Easy. Then I'm going to pop into a 15-minute chart and try to identify if I can find myself a wave count. So this looks like a 1, 2. This is a 3. Looks like a 4, 5. So we have 1, 2. All of this is a 3 in my opinion. Here's a 4. And this is some version of 5. Now 5 can continue for a while. So 4, this could be a little bit of a 4, and then 5 is going to continue a little bit. So that tells me that we can easily go higher. Probably will dip. Don't be too aggressive on the bullish move, but it certainly can go higher, and don't be stressed out if it does, but look to kind of buy a little bit of a pullback. Cindy says, do you look for anything special since it's a new candle for a week, a month, and a day? I absolutely am looking for gaps. You'll notice that Nvidia is not gapping really specifically at all. We're not gapping above the high of the day. We're not gapping below the low of the day. We are gapping on Tesla, but not Nvidia. So Nvidia is actually gapping down very, very, very minutely. So when we go find a new gap, which we will be doing soon, I'm going to do one more stock like we just did here. And then I'm going to go look through some stocks that you guys are requesting to see if we can find a fantastic gap add that to the list, and that'll be the 6 that we follow. So let's see. Delta, I can tell you guys right now, Delta's not gapping. AMD is gapping a little bit, and Amazon is perfectly flat. All right, so we'll go back and do what we're doing now on the checklist on the rest of these stocks. Since they're not really gapping, Tesla is kind of my favorite for the day, followed by AMD. Since those three, sorry, I apologize. Since those two are gapping above highs and above lows, let me see if the weekly 100 is still pretty close on Nvidia. Yep. Weekly 100 is pretty close to where we're at, and the daily 100 is pretty close to where we're at on AMD. So daily 100 SMA, 94.98. Okay, what's the stock that you guys want me to look at, ladies and gentlemen? We have 9 minutes before market open. SIGA Technologies. We had a big move on Friday, not so much today. You had an absolutely perfect gap and go on July 25th. This was the time to get in. This was the no-brainer, in my personal opinion. Perfect bullish gap and go, closing above resistance, retested. Getting in was here, and then you're selling into these new highs somewhere right around here. For today, it's not gapping above or below the prior high, so we'll move on. But I can put it on the list for the afternoon room today, which I'm most likely going to be doing today, this afternoon. All right, so there's SIG. It's Netflix. Interesting little gap on Netflix. This is actually working on gapping down very small. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Are you all able to see how Netflix is gapping before the market even opens? Yeah, so it's working on gapping down a little bit. So Netflix is a possibility. Let me put it on the list for the afternoon room. But to do proper analysis on it, it's just going to take 4 or 5 minutes. I'll put it on the list just in case and see if we can go look through some other things that it might be gapping even better. Boeing. Okay, so what we'll notice on Boeing, both Stephen and Justin Maxwell are looking at Boeing, and they have noticed that it's gapping above a week's high and many, many, many months as well. So Boeing is a very good gap. So between Netflix and Boeing, I choose you, Boeing. All right, so Boeing on the list. Let's see if Apple can replace it. Probably not. No, not right away. It is gapping. So you'll notice we're actually slightly opening below the open. I'm really, really excited about this week, by the way. Other than, of course, it being the free week, there's going to be some really interesting bulls trapped, I think, if we have any kind of actual bearish movement. What it makes the most sense to me, however, is Apple just slightly pulls back, kind of hangs out. This was and still is a bear call spread for August on Apple that I'm not entirely hugely worried about yet. So I'll look at that in the afternoon room. But as far as a gap, it is a good gap. There is some edge here. Some people are certainly getting trapped a little bit. Target's gapping up nicely. First thing to look at Target, it is gapping into a resistance. So resistance. You have a bunch of white candles in a row, but it is clearing a lot of pivots, meaning there's a lot of days and weeks where it's gapping above the high. This is one where you probably would want to go through all those moving average time frames. The weekly chart, we're above all those. The monthly chart, we're above all those. There's no real moving average in the way, acting as a strong resistance on target. So I'd probably say buy the retest on this one. Let's put it on the list for the afternoon room. Looks pretty good. Ray Humphreys wants to look at RTX. RTX is gapping, and it is gapping above the high of not only yesterday's high, but the last 4 days as well. Pretty decent gap. Not the most fun stock to day trade in the world. A really nice buy and hold blue chip, right? That just kind of slowly goes higher. I wouldn't specifically or aggressively short it at this exact moment in time, but I can say this, that if you're looking at playing it bullish, buying a dip on Raytheon makes a lot of sense. All right. Cool. We'll look at 2 more, Intel and then gold. Intel, Quan, looking at Intel. So Intel had a big gap down Friday, a lot of bullish volume. really, really, really trying to do its absolute best to hold on. I'll put on the list again for the afternoon room, which is 5 to 6 Eastern, 4 to 5 Central. Intel desperately, desperately needs to hold that level. Very much so. There's only a few stocks truly that have been going up the last 3 weeks. And most of it's Apple. Intel is really, really riding the struggle bus. It's making lower lows. It's making lower highs pretty significantly. It did retest this neckline and failed with a gap. Yeah, this is a big deal. A lot of bull volume, pretty nice little gap. If it breaks that, oh boy. Oh boy. Maloney says Meta. So Meta was real. Oh, sorry, that's MetLife. I was like, what? So Meta, again, riding the struggle bus a little bit. You had a gap down on earnings. This is a bearish gap and go 2 days ago. You have an inside candle. We are at beautiful, rock solid, super obvious support. But if that support breaks down, I do think that Meta is very shortable, even if it's for a quick trade, because there is nothing, and I repeat, no moving average of any magnitude holding Meta up. This monthly candle is over. We retested and failed the 100 SMA on a monthly. You had an inside month, and the overall trend is bearish. Meta's got some problems, and I'm not saying it can't go higher. It certainly can. This is a very, very nice hammer, but we do need to go above 162 this week for me to be even playing any type of actual bullish swing trade on Meta. So team, what we're going to do is keep an eye on a lot of those for our day trade list. These are the stocks that we're going to be focusing on for at least the next hour and a half until one of my amazing counterparts takes over for me. Let's go look at and keep an eye on Boeing since it is gapping very nicely. And let's go look at all the moving averages on Boeing and draw those lines out. So there's the daily 100, weekly 100 and 200 are pretty far away, so I don't really need to draw those. Monthly 200, it's far away, but it's relevant, I guess, to draw. Monthly moving averages. So the 10 EMA on a monthly is a very good resistance. And that's going to be right around 172. Weekly moving averages on Boeing, we got plenty of room. There and there. And then here's the daily moving averages. We're above them. Perfect. So this is a very nice gap, and it's a retest gap. Here's the 5-minute chart, drawing some support and resistance pre-market. This one's a little bit more of a fun challenge. Here's resistance number 1. Here's support number 2. And here's support number 3 on Boeing. Next best part is doing the Elliott wave count, 15-minute chart. And this is, at least according to me, a wave 3. 1, 2, 3. So wave 4 will probably pull back into here somewhere, and then we'll get a wave 5. There we go. Beautiful. A strategy that I will be following while I'm on the microphone is the 10 EMA strategy for day trading. You're like, what the heck is that, Newsom? Well, in the next 45 seconds, you'll notice you can log in for free, totally complimentary, into reallifetrading.com. And we provide the exact strategy, totally complimentary, down here in your other resources. Click in, log in, and go check it out. Get yourself the 10 EMA strategy PDF, which is right here. It is free. It is yours. And you can look at it, plan with it, trade with it, use it, and implement exactly how I'm implementing it going forward. Those here on YouTube, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this analysis is helpful. You are incredible. And I'll be back tomorrow